Do you know the origins of aviation? You've surely heard of the Wright Brothers, the two Americans who, according to official history, made the first controlled flight in a machine heavier than air. But did you know that an accident caused by a young man who would later become a serial killer changed the destiny of one of the brothers and therefore of modern aviation? Or that the Wright brothers' achievement is shrouded in controversy between those who consider them the true fathers of aviation and those who defend the Brazilian Alberto Santos Dumont? Today we will travel from the dreams of flying in ancient mythology to the milestone of December 1903 in the dunes of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, where the Wrights changed the course of humanity. But we won't just stay on that date. We will also explore the contributions of other geniuses, such as Abbas ibn Firnas, Leonardo da Vinci, the Montgolfier brothers, and of course the charismatic Santos Dumont, who starred in his own air revolution in Europe. Who is right in this dispute? What are the real origins of aviation? Get ready, because this is a story of ingenuity, sacrifice, and dreams fulfilled. The dream of flying is not new. Ever since humans saw birds soaring through the skies, they wanted to imitate them. Ancient cultures reflected this desire in mythologies, such as the Greek myth of Icarus and Daedalus, or the Inca myth of Kon, a flying god. But the first real attempts to fly date back several centuries. For example, Archytas of Tarentum in the 4th century BC created a bird-shaped artifact powered by steam that flew about 300 meters. In 4th century China, the first kites were invented, a predecessor to modern gliders. In the 9th century, the Andalusian inventor Abbas ibn Firnas tried to fly with a device made of wood, silk and feathers, but suffered a hard fall that caused him serious injuries. Throughout the centuries, many dreamers tried to fly. In the Renaissance, Leonardo da Vinci designed flying machines based on the scientific study of birds, although he never built them. In the 17th and 18th centuries, the Montgolfier brothers achieved the first manned flight in a hot air balloon, and pioneers like George Cayley laid the foundations for modern aeronautics. Wilbur and Orville Wright were born into a modest family in Ohio, United States. Although they did not finish high school, their curiosity and determination made them self-taught. Their interest in aviation was born thanks to a small toy helicopter that their father gave them as children. In the 1890s, while running a bicycle shop, the Wrights began researching aeronautics. They wanted to solve the problem of flight control, something that many other pioneers had put aside. For them, it was not enough to fly. It had to be done in a controlled and safe way. In 1902, they designed a glider with a revolutionary control system based on wing warping, twisting the wings to stabilize the aircraft. After making more than 1,000 test flights in the dunes of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, they decided to take the next step, add an engine. The morning of December 17th, 1903, was cold and windy. The Wright brothers were ready to test their invention, the Flyer 1, a wood and fabric airplane with a 12-horsepower engine. Before only 5 witnesses, Orville Wright piloted the first powered and controlled flight in history. The plane flew for 12 seconds, covering 36 meters. In total, they made 4 flights that day, the longest piloted by Wilbur, who covered 259 meters in 59 seconds. Although the Flyer was damaged by a gust of wind after the flights, the feat was already done. They had shown that it was possible to fly in a machine heavier than air and control it. The rivalry with Alberto Santos Dumont. While the Wrights worked quietly in the United States, in Europe, the Brazilian Alberto Santos Dumont became a famous figure for his demonstrations with dirigibles and airplanes. In 1906, he made a historic flight with his 14-bis airplane, which took off under its own power in the Bagatelle Park in Paris, in front of a crowd of witnesses and members of the International Aeronautical Federation, FAI. This is where the controversy arises. Santos Dumont's supporters consider that, as the 14BIs took off without the aid of rails or catapults, it was the first airplane in history to make an autonomous flight. On the other hand, the Wright brothers' supporters argue that, although they used rails for takeoff, they achieved powered and controlled flights earlier, in 1903. The controversy persists, but the FAI today recognizes the Wright brothers as the first to fly a heavier-than-air machine. Santos Dumont, for his part, is considered a key pioneer in the history of aviation and a national symbol in Brazil. The Wrights after success, business, patents, and tragedies. After their first flights, the Wrights spent the following years perfecting their airplanes and fighting for their patents. They wanted to protect their three-axis flight control system, which led them to court battles with other pioneers, like the American Glenn Curtiss. The pressure of these disputes affected Wilbur Wright's health, who died in 1912, at only 45, due to typhoid fever. Orville continued working in aviation, but lost interest after his brother's death and sold his company in 1915. Despite their success, the Wrights also faced criticism and skepticism, especially in Europe, where some newspapers even called them frauds. However, their legacy was sealed as the true pioneers of modern aviation. Aviation as a weapon and a tool for unity. Both the Wrights and Santos Dumont believed that the airplane could be a tool to bring people closer together and prevent wars. However, both lived to see their invention used for war purposes, something they deeply regretted. Orville Wright wrote after World War II, "There was a time when I thought the airplane would end wars. Now I wonder if the airplane and the atomic bomb will be able to do it." For his part, Santos Dumont, tormented by seeing airplanes used as weapons, took his own life in 1932, leaving a legacy of generosity and dedication to human progress. The history of aviation is one of the most fascinating and controversial in humanity. The Wright brothers, Santos Dumont, and other pioneers taught us that, with ingenuity and perseverance, the oldest dreams can come true. But who do you think deserves the title of fathers of aviation? The Wrights, for their innovations in flight control? Or Santos Dumont, for his autonomous flights? We would love to hear your opinion in the comments. If you like these stories, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for joining us, curious minds. See you in the air or in the next video.